guys, my name is Jessica. I'm from Green Fever SA and welcome back to my channel. This is my channel where I like to talk about all things planty. I'm learning about plants and I'm thoroughly loving and enjoying every moment of it, and so I would like to take you guys along with me, and I'd like to learn with you guys and learn from you guys, and hopefully I can share a few of my tips and tricks. Before I carry on, these two little ears over here, this is Bean Pie. I'll take place in some videos. She loves to sit with me. Her name is Soya. She's one of two kitty cats that I have. I love this cat to pieces. I'm not sure if she feels the same, but but it's fine as long as we love each other. So if you do see her in my videos, that's who she is. Today I really would like to speak about fungus gnats. Tiny black things that fly and crawl all over your plants, coming in and out of the soil, often from underneath the pots. Look a little bit like a fruit fly. That's sort of, if you didn't know any better, that's what I would assume that they were. They are quite a common house pest. I think most people at some point in their planting journey will experience fungus gnats. I think the best way to probably control your fungus gnats is to understand a little bit about their life cycle. Unfortunately, they have a very quick life cycle. It's around 3 to 4 weeks. They do have 4 stages, which would be your egg, then to your larva, then to your pulpal. I think you pronounce it pulpal, and then the full-blown flying adult stage. Generally, the fungus gnats are harmless to plants. Generally. The babies, once they have hatched, between the larva and the pulpal stage, altogether I think it's somewhere between, it's about 2 weeks, they do eat a lot of the nutrients in the soil. They are quite happy to start eating on the new root growth. The one thing that's also super annoying is that they do tend to fly towards your face. Apparently it's the warm breath that they're attracted to, but they do. They come up and they fly in your face, and I end up just all day, and it's not fun. So the adults only live for around a week, but in that week stage the females can lay up to 300 eggs. Once the eggs hatch, which only take 4 to 6 days, not very long, then they enter into their larva stage and then into their pulpal stage. Both of these stages are very much in the soil. You will not see them. One pot plant can potentially hold all 4 stages, and because of that it can become extremely difficult to manage. Fungus gnats absolutely love wet, damp soil. I've tried quite a few prevention methods. A lot of them did nothing, absolutely nothing. And then I only, to be honest, have one prevention solution that has worked for me. And so I'm going to share that with you so that you don't have to go through everything that I went through in order to get rid of them. But you're more than welcome to try that all as well. With me being in South Africa, there are a lot of videos that I watched that were, American or British based and that sort of stuff, and they get some of the products a lot more readily than we do. Some of the products I've decided not to try, even though people have said that they worked really well. One of the products is mosquito bites. You can get them here, but they're extremely expensive. It is like 700 Rand. You need to put the mosquito bites inside the soil. And the way that prevents the fungus gnats is that the larva will eat the mosquito bites, which then, obviously poisons them. The other option that I have not tried, the only reason I don't really want to do it is because it doesn't look good, and that is the gnats sticky tape. It's sort of just a little stick that you stick in the soil. It is yellow because apparently they are very attracted to yellow. The adults anyway. The adults will sit on the little stick, get stuck, and then they can't actually lay any more eggs, they die on that, and then that's how you break that cycle. I'm going to talk about the methods that didn't work for me, so the ones that I've tried but didn't work. The first one was to put either bark chips, orchid bark chips, or stones, little stone pebbles, on the top of your plants. Apparently they then struggle to get to the soil, and the sharp rocks would obviously be sharp for them, and it deterred them from being in the soil. For me, this did absolutely nothing. I just found that it just made them harder for me to squish if I did see one. Whereas when there was the soil, I could sort of like tap the pot about and he would fly up, or he would move onto the side of the pot and I could just squish it. Whereas now with the rocks and I just found that they crawled in and out of them, and I just didn't have access to squishing them. So this is one plant that has bark chips. So this is just my wandering dew, a common name. I can't actually remember the botanical name, so I'll put that on the screen. And this is just from a cutting of it. It's actually such a beautiful plant, but this one I was really worried about because I had water propagated this and I did not want all his roots to be eaten. But this, as you can see, the bark chips are on. Oh, look how well he's growing. Look at his root system. He's popping out the pot. He has only been in here for a month, and we're in the middle of winter. So many roots popping out. I can see hundreds of them. Ah! See, the other problem with bark chips is they all fall. But I just found that the fungus gnats just ran in between all the little bits of bark and I couldn't actually squish them, which was probably more frustrating because I just wanted to squish them. Sorry, it's very far over there. Because of the nature of this plant, it is my maidenhair fern that I'm actually just rehabbing for a friend. It loves, you know, a more damp soil. It likes high humidity. Oh, one flew out, but it flew off. But these little, oh gosh, there's like 4 flying out. Another problem, this I put the stones in, the sharp little stones, because apparently that also worked. But they, yeah, just fly in and out of this as well. Same problem as the bark chips. I just couldn't squish them anymore because they were weaving in and out of this. They became a lot more lucrative creatures. Whereas with the soil, I don't know why, if it's just a flat thing of soil on top, I could just squish it. Another thing which is the same concept as, you know, the bark and the stones was sort of a heavy river sand, and you just put a thick layer of that because apparently they don't like to lay their eggs in that. But my sister said it sort of worked. Another home remedy that both my sister and I had tried was the vinegar and water with dish soap in a little jar, and you would add your dish soap, just a little bit of dish soap, to the apple cider vinegar. And the theory behind this is that the gnats would be attracted to the sweet apple cider vinegar and they would go to drink it, and once they went to drink, the dish soap would then, you know, create a slippery surface where they would then slip in and they would drown. You would just place that around your plants, but I never saw one gnat in that. What I actually saw more dead gnats in was actually just a standard plain jar of water, but I wouldn't recommend going through that. It, like I said, with the apple cider vinegar, never saw one gnat in it, nothing. So try it, but I would suggest don't bother. So what I have tried and what worked or is working, because it's not something that happens just once and is over, you have to apply this fairly often, is hydrogen peroxide. You have to mix, it's 1 part hydrogen peroxide to 4 parts water, which is a lot. But this is very cheap. You can get it from Discount or Checkers. I got this from Checkers just when I was doing my grocery shopping, and I think it's like 14 Rand for 100 mils. I bought like 5. When you are watering your plants, you add this to the water and you just water as normal. I would use this for a month every time that you water to try to kill the life cycle. So remember that they live, you know, for 4 weeks. This is unfortunately not going to kill the parents, but it is going to kill the eggs, stop them from hatching, and any larvae as well as pulpal that is in the soil. So this will kill off 3 generations, but unfortunately, you know, adults flying around can still then go and lay eggs. So with the hydrogen peroxide, I would recommend, from my own personal experience, would be to stick to a full water routine. So let's say if you are watering a certain plant twice a week, then for 2 weeks you would water with hydrogen peroxide. Or if it's a plant that you are watering, you know, once a week, then it would be a month sort of cycle. So just 4 waterings. Then I would leave it for a week. From that, depending on how severe they still are, if there are still loads of flying adults around, I would put it back on for 2 weeks. This has worked for me on that schedule. The only plant that I still have a few issues with is the maidenhair fern. What has worked really well for my sister, but doesn't work well for me and I don't really enjoy doing is you can bottom water your plants instead of top watering. So the gnats do like to live in the top 2 inches of your soil, and so by bottom watering you would be keeping the top of your soil dry and therefore not making the perfect environment for the gnats to live. For me, this doesn't work because I'm an overwaterer. I very much need to know what's going on in those top 2 inches of the soil. I just really struggle to understand my plants on a bottom watering schedule. My sister found probably most of her success with bottom watering a lot of her plants and then using the hydrogen peroxide. And I really hope that you don't have gnats and I really hope that if you do that soon you will not have gnats. I really hope that these tips can help. If you have tips that you have tried that are very successful, please put them down in the comments. I'm sure everybody watching this video would absolutely love to know, as well as myself. And if you've also tried some other things that maybe didn't work, you could also leave those in the comments, just because I do find that sometimes you end up putting a lot of time and effort into things that maybe just aren't worth the time and effort. It doesn't really bring the results that you're looking for. Also, let me know if you guys would like more videos like this where maybe I talk about my experience and what did work and didn't work for me. So thank you guys for watching and I will see you next time.